Welcome to the Extraordinary Culture Podcast. Podcast for the culture that is music, movies, sports, food, and beer. The Extraordinary Culture.
Well, better late than never.
Yep. Creative differences.
Did you see what I put in the outline? I quoted Cheech and Chong goes, "Shit, man, I'm gonna be late for work again. It's the fifth time this week, man. It's only Tuesday." I couldn't resist.
I think, didn't Kevin post some shit about that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, he posted that on 420.
Oh, that's what it is, yeah. Fifth time be late for work this week, man. It's only Tuesday. Man. It made me think about Tide Stick.
What is that shit? You know that shit that's tied to a stick?
Then he finishes, where's that Tide Stick, man? These days it's a cleaner.
I don't know how you can jump.
I still tell people about Bendeco. That's freaking funny.
I still tell people about buying fucking marijuana and it's fucking like, yeah, I was Mexican fucking stressed with fucking stems and seeds still in that shit. And then you're lucky if it didn't smell like gasoline.
Hey Dan, I really like the new stuff that you've been working with our buds at Art of Dedication.
Oh, yeah.
What brought that on?
So, for a while now, I've been wanting to do an apparel line for the Crown and Stache logo for the company. It's always been something that we've had it's always been on our mind. It's always been something that we wanted to do. I can design some stuff, but I'm very limited on the ability for a lot of the things that I do. So,
not because our logo has been the same as our last podcast and the Crown and Stache logo. What would you mean?
But my idea has always been to get other artists, other people involved, to let them kind of just run with what their idea would be, what they think it should be. I think it's a great way to collaborate with other graphic designers, other artists, tattoo artists. So it was natural that the first person that I wanted to use was going to be Gabe, especially since he was starting to do business-related images and designs, rebrandings, design. There's a lot of stuff that he's been doing in relation to working with businesses. It's pretty cool to see him talk about it. In fact, he had asked me, are we doing a whole rebranding? And I told him no. This is strictly just clothing line stuff. These logos, anything that you do, of course, we'll use and we'll promote it as well. But it's not really a rebranding. I want the logo to stay the way it is. I like it. That's what our original logos has been. We'll change things. That's the great thing about having the clothing line is we could do different things. We could do different styles. I'd even like to even get into different, not just like t-shirts, but button-up shirts, something, just other random things. But for right now, baby steps. We just start with what we've got, which is t-shirts, and it's the easiest way to go. We're even going to be working on some other things pretty soon as well. So, but for right now, the Crown and Stache clothing line is going to be coming pretty soon. We're almost done with the production part, so I'm excited. We've got 4 designs and 5 garments. Baseball shirts, black t-shirts, tank tops, and I've also got a couple hat designs. So we're pretty excited.
Did you ever do a polo with the original design?
Not a polo, but that is one. Like I was saying, there's like other things that I want to do. That's another thing that I want to do as well. I still want to do a polo shirt with that logo on it.
Well, just because it's the whole Fred Perry thing, it should be just the logo just in a over the left breast or whatever it is, and that's it. just
Yeah.
kind of embroidered on there, nothing else. Well, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and since I have my embroiderer now, that's something that I could do. I could take shirts to him and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Just put it right here. Can you do it? And it shouldn't be a problem. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I will
be
rock
cool.
one of those, and I rock my
Throw
Crown and
hands down.
Stache T-shirt at work for all the time.
Oh,
I
awesome.
literally wear. I
Cool.
stopped wearing collar shirts a long time since we went back. I'm like, I'm just gonna wear band shirts and whatever. So I do rock the Crown and Stache shirt at work.
Yeah, we've got some really cool designs that that Gabe did for us. Excuse me. He's super excited. It was the whole process was it was cool. It was a lot of fun. We're gonna do it again. So I've got more stuff planned. And I actually have some other graphic designers that I want to do some work with to come up with some other shirts as well. So I got a bunch of stuff that we're actually going to be coming out with now because we have the ability to do it right now. So this is a good time to jump in and do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I do like that first design that you showed off that both you and SB were posting.
Mm-hmm.
Just a clean, like a classic logo style.
Yeah, it's our printer was saying that they came out really good. He really liked the way they turned out. I was like, awesome, cool. Can't wait to.
I need
see
to get one of those.
So, yeah, it's awesome. We're and we've got other things already that in the works that we're working on. I'm excited. It's going to be a good year for us.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's cool, man. I dig that. And the simpler the design, like it just goes a lot further when it's a simpler design. I mean, remember the Ed Hardy craze a few years back? That was some bullshit. Yeah, no one needs that. It's too busy.
There was some cool designs, but yeah, they definitely were busy. I mean, even the Star Wars designs were fun, but sometimes it's cool to rock a shirt that's busy. Sometimes you need something a little bit more conservative and plain for different occasions. So
Man, that shirt that Rob showed us yesterday with the lightsabers on it was god awful ugly.
he's trying to figure out something to do because he doesn't want to wear a T-shirt, of course, when they do 6th grade promotions, but
That wasn't the one, man.
he also doesn't want to dress up. I'm like,
Yeah.
looks like it's about time for a break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
deviation, face the pavement. Just pick yourself up again. Now calling out your name. Just hold on and be strong and belong in good company. Yes, so long a new song to bring us a sweet harmony. Looming over, throw up your hands, drawing closer. Can you hear me? Ollie, 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 Oxy. Ollie, Oxy free.
All right, so you just heard Ollie Ollie Oxenfree from Authority Zero's latest EP, The Back Nine. Honestly, this was a band I wasn't really into, in the 90s and the early 2000s when they were rocking it, but this was a really good EP. Definitely worth checking out, and a shout out to my buddy Matthew from the Punk Rock Family Facebook group for sending this to me to check out.
So we'll talk that and some more new music later on. Man, so we got here on our thing the Disney tickets and the internet. God, well as we speak, Disneyland just opened. So people spent
3 days ago.
It opened on Friday. It's actually
just
2
last
days
weekend.
ago. So actually, Dan went. Do you want to? How do you want to go through that? Let me talk about you went on a CM preview, but we'll talk about how did you get your tickets? How was it different than anybody else? They just say here's your date or what?
We just like everybody else, we had to make reservations. So we had to pick a day, pick the day, pick your park. We chose Disneyland because
Why
we
not?
wanted to ride Rise of the Resistance.
Badass,
Avengers
by the
Camp
way.
isn't open yet, anyways, so it was probably better just to do that. Although, I mean, there was a lot of people. It felt like there was a lot of people, but I think a lot of it was just because of the social distancing that they do.
Right.
They keep everybody pretty separate. So, I mean, you didn't really feel like you were on top of everybody. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I mean, yeah, you got to wear your mask, but for the most part, it wasn't unbearable. It was the day we went, it was cloudy and then it was sunny. Cloudy and then sunny.
You went on a nice day.
Yeah,
Because
the rest of the
didn't
week,
get
it was
hot until
warm.
later.
Yeah, the next
Yeah.
couple
It got
days were
progressively
hot
hotter.
Yeah, Friday was just awful. It was like
So,
heat sucks.
yeah. So it was all right. It was cool. There was some stuff's not open yet, but a lot was.
So were you guys able to get the reservations like pretty quick or what?
She made them at 7:07, and the reservations were gone by 7:10.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, because that's only a couple of days that CM's had. So when tickets went on sale, as per Disney, man, you'd think they would have this figured out, but they just can't deal with the demand. It's ridiculous. So the day that they went on sale, dude, people waited like 8-9 hours.
Yeah,
to
that's what I
get
heard.
Tickets. It was ridiculous. And then, so you gotta, and you were a little different. You had to get the res because of the cast member status, but they had to buy tickets and then go back and get a reservation. So people were buying tickets and then not realizing you had to get a reservation too to go into the thing. So obviously the first day to sell out was Friday, and then kind of the weekend, and then of course June 4th because that's when Avengers Campus opens. So I mean, ungodful hours. But if you just wanted to go, like, you could have waited the next day and you kind of have your pick of the litter. Because, like, within a few hours, of course, opening day filled up. Avengers Campus Day filled up. The day after Avengers Campus Day filled up. And then most weekends filled up. But if you wanted to hit, like, I probably could go on right now if I wanted to do it and buy some tickets and then pick a weekday during the summertime and get it sometime in June, and I could probably go. That's kind of what happened. But their system was, again, not ready for the amount of people.
So I have a friend who got tickets, and he waited all day to get tickets. I think he was on there 6 to 8 hours. I don't know exactly.
Dang.
And when I found out when he got tickets, it was towards the end of May.
Yeah. Because,
I'm like, you waited like all day, and it's like a month after it opens. I'm like, I'm
Dude,
sorry,
that's
I don't need to go that
that's
bad.
what it is. But people do. They do want to go. They
we
will
knew
go that bad.
And we knew that's what it was going to be, so I didn't bother. Like, cause I'm still like, and it got announced. And honestly, the Disney Culture is going to record probably sometime this week, And so I'll cover this more in depth on there. But they announced that a new pass is going to be coming before the end of the year, like a new membership they call it. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I didn't.
Yeah,
feel
I
the
just saw
urge
that
to-
today.
Yeah, I didn't feel the urge to spend $500 for the one day, because I talked to a cousin of ours, and she had put a message in a Facebook group, and I had made a comment towards it, and then she messaged me and was like, "Are you gonna go? Like, let's go like May 4th or something like that." And I was like, work for one. And then she's like, "Oh, come on, you can afford to take a day off." I'm like, I can't afford to take a day off. That's not the issue. The issue is that like you are single, and you and your boyfriend can buy your own ticket. I have to buy at least 3 for me and my kids. If it's that tier 5,
Right.
I'm looking at spending almost $500, and then I'm going to go out and spend all day there. So I didn't see the need to do that. I'd rather put that money towards the membership or whatever and pay that and deal with whatever their new thing is, which has not been announced, but then I can go kind of a little bit more often. I'd rather do that.
Hey, Dan, is it also a crunch time for you at work?
Oh yeah, man. It's been ridiculous. Like every day's been something, and if it isn't something for work, I'm at home here in the garage, doing some kind of a scholarship recognition or my daughter's softball game or practice, or like it's been ridiculous. But I'm done by Memorial Day, so after that it's kind of open. But the other thing, go ahead, Rick.
No, I'm going to say that was the benefit of having the annual passes, though, is being able to go on your time and not having to do an all-day thing. You can go at 8 o'clock at night and go just till closing or something like that. It doesn't make sense to buy, for us, to buy an all-day ticket and spend $200, $150 a ticket, for that time period. But looking at the possibility of a membership or whatever, you're going to end up paying so much, and I think they're going to say, okay, you can reserve so many days. It's almost going to be more like a season ticket holder at a baseball stadium.
And I'll take that. I'll take that for now. You know what I mean? I'd rather do something like that than whatever else I got going on 20 times versus I can go once, because it's going to be worth my money. And there's going to be changes. We've talked about this before. I totally think the monthly payment stuff, that's gone. It's you pony up big or you stay home. Like there's no way, like, to do that. And people are saying that, oh, like whatever, but like, if you don't have the money for that, they just don't. Start budgeting that. Can I tell you that my timeline that whole day was Disneyland and Bad Bunny?
Yeah,
That's what my whole timeline was that day.
shit.
Yeah. Well, Dan and I have talked about Bad Bunny at length on kayfabe because he did WrestleMania, which was really good, by the way, and might be the best celebrity match of all time, is what we were saying. But no, man, my
Better than
timeline the whole
Lawrence
day
Taylor?
was that. Oh yeah. If you didn't watch WrestleMania, dude, you should catch some highlights from at least that match, because it was actually pretty good. He busted a Canadian destroyer, dude. He busted a Canadian destroyer, and he pulled it off. But then, I don't know how much you want to talk about this, but because we documented it on kayfabe, but he worked with Miz and Morrison, dude. What two better guys to work with to make you look good
Oh, yeah,
than Miz and Morrison?
exactly.
But
So, real quick, when we were just going into the park for the preview, and I turned around because I was waiting for Chris and the rest of their family, and all of a sudden I look in the next lane over, and this dude's standing there wearing the Bad Bunny WrestleMania shirt.
oh, for
I was
real?
like, "Oh, dude!" I wanted to go up to him and say, "I love your shirt," but he was in the middle of checking in, and I didn't want to bother him. I was just like, that's a cool shirt."
His stuff, it's sold out quick. Like, I'm talking about his concerts. So, again, my timeline was full of that. So I do know a bunch of people going to go see Bad Bunny in 2022. But it dawned on me later, dude, it's all different places because they couldn't get, like, L.A. He's playing, I think it's the Staples. Man, I know people legit going to go to Canada to see him. People going to Vegas to go see him. Like, on this tour, because they just get tickets where you can get them.
People saying, like, I still got my second stimmy. I'm going to buy 4 seats for Bad Bunny. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, so this is the other thing, too, and this made me mad. Because people were talking about, oh, they're so expensive. Dude, tickets were not expensive. They were not expensive. You're talking about the Forum. You're talking about the cheap seat being $60 in the nosebleed, and then okay, maybe 200 like on the floor or something. That's what they cost. That's what tickets they cost. That's what they cost at the Forum. If you're talking about $600 a seat, no, that's because you bought it from a reseller. That's what you're doing. So if you're paying that, you're just kind of stupid. Like whatever. So if you want to spend your stimmy on that, go ahead.
That's your own damn fault.
Somebody's getting stimulated. I'll tell you that much right now.
So did you guys hear about that guy who spent too much money on Disney World vacation and refused to take his temperature?
Was it temperature or not wear a mask?
No,
I think it
was his temperature.
His temperature.
Hardest to stand there and go beep
after spending 15 G's.
No, that's what he said. Nobody could verify that. So he went through and he didn't. Dumbass walked through the exit. How have you been to downtown Disney? Well, you went to the park, so like they have everybody goes in and they do that like mass thermal scan thing, and they can scan your your forehead too as you kind of walk by. So and then the other side is the freaking exit, right? Jackhole walked through the exit. He didn't go past the thing, and then he got caught with it, and they said, "Sir, we need you to come and do this," and he utterly refused. And then threw in that like, "Well, I spent $15,000 for this," and I'm like, "No one gives a shit, bro."
Yeah.
Like a rule, you didn't go through the security check. Like you got to go through the security check. That's bottom line.
Yeah.
That's it. Like there's nothing to that other than he's trying to act like a jackal. Did they ban him?
I don't know. That was so long ago. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, dude.
But he did get arrested though, right?
Yeah, I know he got escorted off property.
Right.
And usually when that happens, they 86 your ass. So.
Wait, so is this at Disneyland or Disney World?
Nah, it's Disney World, bro. It's Florida. Come on.
Florida, man.
Remember it was Adam Carolla used to have Germany or Florida? All the dumbass news stories, and you try to guess, is this Germany or Florida? Because that's where all the stupid shit happens.
Yeah, who doesn't have it? Well, what is it? KLOS still does Florida or anywhere else.
Yeah. Like, come on. You're freaking, that's ridiculous. Whatever with
What a waste of histamine.
Yeah.
And you probably know about this the most, Dan. The Haunted Mansion updates.
He's talking to you, not me.
Me?
You.
Oh,
You got on the Haunted Mansion, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, they changed a few things in there. I missed a couple of them.
But what stood out the most?
Okay. So I asked Chris. She didn't see it either. But remember the spider hole, the spider web in the grand ballroom?
Yeah, the crack in the glass.
Yeah. Okay, it's not there anymore. So they replaced it. That was one of the things I noticed. Unless I'm incorrect, I asked Chris, and she said she didn't see it either. Did you notice that spider was gone? Because I always look every time I go. It's just something ever since we first talked about it. Every time I get on that ride, I always look, and this time I didn't see it there. Anyways, that was one thing.
And the story is that it couldn't be replaced because they had to take the roof off the joint.
Hey, Chris said they took the roof off. So
Dang.
I was like, well, I mean, if it happened, I mean, this would be the time to do it.
Exactly.
So,
they had a year to do it.
So coming off the elevator, even before that, coming off the elevator, they said that they put a new painting in there. To me, it looked like it was one that I've already seen before, but everybody kept saying it's new. It's right before you get on the Doom buggies.
Yeah. So let me explain that from what I understand. They brought back the December one, but the technology's updated.
Okay, then that's what it is. Because I'm like, I've seen this chick before. This isn't new. And there was a guy that was in front of us who's a friend of Chris's, who's another cast member. He said it's new. I kept saying, well, all right, well, whatever. But okay, so it's just new technology then, because that image looked so familiar.
Yeah. Like, because they had taken it away when they updated them. What was that, like maybe 5 or 10, 15 years ago when they updated the Haunted Mansion, the gallery?
Yeah, something about that.
Okay, so they updated them and they took that one away. And from what I understand, since they moved it, and it's the same concept but new technology.
Gotcha.
Okay. I haven't. There's plenty of ride-throughs, but I really I don't really ever watch those. Like the whole backstory stuff.
So right before you get on the Doom buggies, you round that corner and then you round another one and then you get on the Doom buggies. So right as you're rounding around the first one, there's this big elaborate like wrought iron divider wall, but it's just steel and it looks really cool, but it's really big. That's new. They just put that in. I don't really know what the purpose of that was for, other than maybe just to kind of create a wall, like as a divider. But you can see through it. But it looks nice.
Hey, would that have anything to do with? Do you know when you're in line and where the tombstones are, like the one that says empty tomb, and you're above it, but there's a walkway down below and there's a door down there? They've been taking people in down there to cut the line down.
We noticed that they did that when we were in line, and we were kind of looking like, holy shit, where's that going to lead to?
Yeah, it's a backstage thing, but I guess it's themed. So it's themed like one of the hallways in the mansion. I did see some video of that because I know somebody that went to that, and
crazy.
I wondered if that, because I don't know where that line meets up. Like I don't know if it comes
either.
out, because you do that part instead of going in the
Elevator?
stretching in the elevator. Yeah, because of the distancing protocols. So if you do that, you go down a set of steps instead. So I don't know. I don't know if that divider, if it looked like a wall, I don't know if there's something on the other side of that would meet up somewhere like that.
What else did I notice? The graveyard. There's like cats and there's I think dogs. I saw a lot of cats just sitting on the tombstones with the ghosts. They've added more ghosts. They have some scenes where they're sitting there drinking tea. But there's a bunch of cool like little things like that are throughout the graveyard. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I heard that they had done that. They're more animals like in the thing too. So that's kind of cool. So I'm sure once you're able to go a little bit more often, or we're able to go a little more often, and just spy everything, little tiny things going on. Did you end up getting on Snow White?
No, not on Snow White.
Okay,
no.
That's the other one that got like a major upgrade.
Oh.
Okay, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Was Peter Pan still like an hour wait?
You know what? We didn't even really go through Fantasyland at all. We went through Frontierland. Small World, Tomorrowland, Galaxy's Edge, and New Orleans.
Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, give us the Rise impression.
Well, okay, so you said that they cut a portion of it out is it in the beginning?
Yeah.
So, okay, with the exception of that, now, okay, let me ask you this, because I have my assumption. Is it the part where you're standing in front of all the stormtroopers?
No. Before you go out, so it was the first area where they put you in where you got on the shuttle?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, you missed the pre-show, which is where you actually see Rey and BB-8.
Okay, yeah, no, we didn't see Rey and BB-8.
So you walk in, when you go through the actual, line, through the queue, you come into that room, and that room they kind of tell you, like, oh, you're a part of the Resistance now, or whatever, and this is the mission that we're going to go on. And Rey appears to you in holograph form, and then BB-8 comes out from behind some screens where you see Poe Dameron, and he's talking to you. So that's the part that I heard got cut out. So
yeah,
from there you go out into the open area, which is where you board the shuttle. That's the second part of the show. So I heard they cut that first part out, which is, you're confirming that because the first thing you did was get on a shuttle.
Yeah.
And that's to cut down on the length of time you're indoors with people?
Yes, because the part with Rey is indoors. Yeah.
So it'd be, I would assume it'd be similar to what is Mission Breakout, Guardians of the Galaxy. They may be cutting down on that rocket pre-scene where the old Twilight Zone story was.
Yeah, it could be, because I think the limit right now is 15 minutes, and I think Rise, the complete Rise, was something like 18. So you cut out that 2-3 minutes of that racing, you make your time.
on
Yeah.
Smuggler's Run, they cut out the part with Hondo
Oh, they did?
too. Yeah, you beeline it straight into the waiting area when you're inside the Millennium Falcon,
Mhm.
and then they have your party. You don't even get those cards anymore. They just bring you right up, and all right, you guys are in. So I think we waited in line for that. We waited a total maybe 25 minutes. That was all outside till you got to the front of the building, to the entrance, and then from there you just went straight up.
So did
You
they
ran through it.
was the queue all right there in front of it, or does it go down the side of where Oga's is? Because there was a big like gate on the side right there. In fact, you see the Millennium Falcon and you pass the Millennium Falcon, like on the right end of there's two big old doors. Technically, it's a backstage area, but it's set up to be an extra queue, and they have a bunch of like trailers back there because that's Hondo's, the shipping thing. It fits with the theme.
So the doors weren't open, but it was going out that far.
Okay. So it was going out to that door. Yeah, because that's all the outside stuff. So when it's super busy, when the line is an hour long, it goes all the way down over there.
Yeah. I've seen it open before, but we've actually never had to go through that. We've never had to go that far.
No, I've never gone through the gate. Just up to where the gate is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we didn't wait. We didn't have to wait very long to get in that one. The only one we had to wait for a really long time was for Rise of Resistance, and it's because it wound up breaking down.
Of course,
So,
that hasn't changed. Some things never change. What'd you think of the ride? What'd you think of the ride though? Best ride ever, right?
Dude, that ride was awesome.
Incorporates a bunch of different
So
stuff.
this is your first time riding it?
Yeah, it was my first time riding it. So, yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to go back and ride it again. It would be worth, if I could ride it twice in a day, I would definitely try.
Not happening right now.
No,
that's totally not happening right now. Now, given the nature of how popular that ride is in the system, there's no way anybody can ride it twice.
Yeah.
Unless you happen to. No, you can't. You can't. There's no way because you have to have your ticket linked to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that queue system. So the part with all the stormtroopers and all that was all there still? It would kind of have to be because that's where you get out of the shuttle.
Yeah, it was all there. But you guys, did you have to wait? Did you guys get to wait there at all for?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did.
Okay, they just walked us right by there.
That sucks. That sucks. That's a beautiful picture opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Damn, I really wanted to take a picture, but nope. They were like, move.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
time.
oh, all right.
Yeah, but what about that big ass AT-AT in the ride?
Dude, that thing looks so cool. just going right underneath it. I'm looking up, going, this is so awesome. This is so awesome.
I didn't know where to look, and the guy, I was with Rob, and the guy sitting next to me, we were both like, oh.
Yeah.
So cool.
One thing that was a little weird, a little awkward for me. I mean, at least it was they did have the plexiglass dividers.
Mm-hmm.
Right in between you, right in the middle of the seats, they had the plastic dividers. So that was.
Now, did it look like it was? Did it look
Go
like
ahead.
permanent, or did it look like how everybody is like Mickey Mouse and stuff?
It looked like it was It looked like it was just kind of like put there.
Some
It
double-sided
looked a
tape.
little flimsy. It just, I mean, not really. I mean, it looked like it was framed in. It just didn't. I don't know. It just looked weird. It didn't look. Didn't look like it belonged there.
Well, because they don't want to keep it there. It's not permanent.
Right.
It's not permanent. It's temporary. You don't want to mess up something when it's that. So even the ones we have on the desks at school. Rick, do you have plexiglass? You have plexiglass on the desk?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're
It's
just like double-sided tape or something.
Double-sided tape with the clip. Yeah.
It's nothing. It's nothing crazy. That's what they want to be, so you don't ruin the thing permanently. But even the little droid is cool. Huh? The little astromech.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's the coolest ride. Like that takes the cake for I think that may be the best ride ever. Like honestly, and I only been on it once, and I still vividly remember every little thing because it was so freaking cool.
I did get to build an R2 unit. I got my R2D2.
I saw that you were like a kid in a candy store.
Oh man, that thing looked cool. It's so awesome. Everybody's so jealous every time we play. I have it at the shop. We play with it at the shop. So every now, I let a couple of the kids pull it out of the box and run around. Everybody's just sitting there, ooh, as they're sitting in the chairs getting their haircut.
Now, does it run with a mobile app or does it
So it does have a mobile app. However, I have the remote control.
Mhm.
It comes with the remote control, so that's how it can go forward, backwards, turns right and left. The head spins. It'll talk. And then we got the accessory for the little blasters on the side, and then there's a button that goes with those blasters. So when it's out, it goes shoo 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 shoo. So makes the little noise. It lights up. It's pretty cool. I want to go back and build another one.
Rob has held me to the fact that we're going to go to Savvy's when we do go to the park. There's a trip to Savvy's in there for us.
Oh yeah.
We made it through the pandemic unscathed, so we need a $200 lightsaber. Yeah, man, that sounds like you had a good time. I'm glad. How long were you guys there?
Oh gosh, we got there. I think we got through the gate at maybe like 11.
Did that take a long time to do, or just because of the time you got there?
It took a minute. Once everybody parked in the structure, once you get down from the structure, it's kind of like it's like the first day. They had a plan on how to have everybody run through the temperature check and security check, but they were using the lines of the trees, the tree lines, as you're walking around there. You can actually create a little queue line if you just kind of follow a pattern. But nobody really knew the pattern and no one was really directing. They finally realized that and started having people direct where the crowd was supposed to go. And then they sorted it out and it kind of got a little bit easier. Once you kind of got in a single file line, everything ran a lot smoother. So it was just a lot of long lines. The good thing is the lines all moved pretty smooth. And we went first day of cast preview. So
it was the first time anybody had even been in. So that's trying to figure out what you got going on. That makes sense.
And now you're already, going on a couple of days being open. You know, I'm sure they probably have it figured out by now. Probably runs a little bit better.
Yeah. If one thing I learned from Disney, dude, you don't do anything opening day.
Yeah, Chris even said she noticed on Small World that the boats were going a little slower than normal, and she made a comment about it. And then as we were getting ready to get off of the ride, there was two guys from maintenance on both sides of the little walkway there, and they're just staring at the little mechanisms that pull the boats and then shoots them out as it's pulling them onto the tracks, like for you to disembark. But there's just all kinds of issues that still they got to work out.
Better to do it with cast members than first day of paying customers. So
Absolutely.
are you gonna no, she gets obviously her sign-ins, but they're a little bit different than before. Are you guys gonna try to do Avengers Campus?
We'll see. Things are changing with that too.
All right.
They just so not sure how all that's gonna work, but I'm sure when the time comes, because I don't even think they can get in right now. So I don't know when. They don't even know when they'll be able to. So it's just kind of a waiting game. That's why we wanted to go to this.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to be, and I wasn't inferring that it would be some kind of a preview for cast members, but more along the lines when she actually gets to sign in again, like in her normal.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they don't even know. Yeah, right now, as far as I understand, right now it's they can't get in at all.
It's about making up some of that money.
Yeah,
which is understandable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So speaking of Avengers, I totally lost my track. Oh, Avengers Campus isn't going to be tied to any storyline at all. So it doesn't follow.
That's good.
It doesn't come after Endgame or anything like that. The snap will not have happened. It's open.
Blip.
It's open access. Yeah, the blip will not happen. It's open access to kind of stuff. So that'll be that's kind of cool. Because that was the whole reasoning behind Galaxy's Edge, too, is like you don't want to tie it to any one thing because then you're super limited as to what you can do. So you're going to see, Iron Man and the original Captain America, and we'll see if we see the new Captain America, Falcon.
So did you Did you read the storylines about that? Where, I mean, that was really cool. At the end, they call it, instead of being Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was Captain America and the Winter Soldier. But even the producers and things of Falcon and the Winter Soldier were saying he's not the Winter Soldier anymore. That's completely done. And they actually toyed with the idea of putting at the end Captain America and the White Wolf.
Yeah, which is what they called him from Wakanda.
Yeah.
You know, she referred to him a couple times as the White Wolf. So yeah,
Mhm.
that was pretty cool. So I finally, you know what, I watched the first 2 episodes when they came out, and then I just kind of got busy, and I would forget about it and tell myself, man, I got to catch up on Falcon and Winter Soldier. I got to catch up with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So you're not caught up?
No, I am, but I watched it all. I think the Saturday after the last episode came out. Like I binged the rest of it. Like went straight through.
Week. Last week then.
Yeah, last week.
It was only 6 episodes, so it was a little bit easier to do.
Right, and I'd already seen 2 of them. And the first 2 were ones that I thought they were good. It was kind of slow, and then it definitely picked up. Like the speed of it picked up immensely to get to the end. And I thought it was. You know what? I would almost argue that this was better than WandaVision.
It was more in the style of what you expected from a Marvel series.
And I think that's why. Because Wanda was slow for a long time, and because I don't know. I think maybe because we thought we were going to get a bigger payoff with WandaVision, like what everybody was speculating, that didn't come to fruition. And I don't think I had any expectations for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so what they gave us was like, oh, I didn't expect him to actually become Captain America. I don't know if they would actually go there, especially the way they set it up.
You didn't expect Baron Zemo to pop up.
And be like the anti-hero, be the Boba Fett of the series.
You didn't expect John Walker. You didn't expect Sharon Carter to come in there and end up being the power broker on top of everything else. So
that tripped me out.
Yeah.
I kind of figured it out by about by the end of the second to last episode, when she started playing it a little bit more. I'm like, she's the power broker.
Yeah.
And I like how they brought in the black Captain America into the fold too.
Yes, which was an actual thing too in the comics.
Yeah, that was a storyline. Yeah, that
that was a storyline in the comics.
And there's a historical precedent for that with the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
So it's all like with trying to incorporate more. Like I'm not saying like Black Lives Matter thing, but I'm just like trying to incorporate more people into the Marvel universe and more what's going on, like really what really happened, and trying to like to acknowledge the mistakes we made in the past. It was good to see that come in there. And then at the end where they give him his own statue and they acknowledge what happened.
Yeah.
It's
more of the my voice.
One of the lines there after Falcon made his appearance as Captain America was when they were down in the shot panned down to the street, and after he had saved whoever, I think it was the helicopter. If he had saved the helicopter, the old man was there like, oh, that's Black Falcon, and the guy next to him said, no, that's Captain America.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? That's like Marvel went hard on this one with the you said not the Black Lives Matter thing, but they went hard with the Black Lives Matter kind of thing with this. They totally did. Like I don't know if it was
Black Lives Matter.
No,
so
but I can't think
my
of
voice.
it. Yeah, I guess I couldn't find the
words. My voice thing.
Yeah,
which is the big thing in the literature right now is I want things that are my voice.
Yeah. And I knew that wasn't it, but I couldn't think of anything else. But yeah, that describes it. What I was trying to get at, for sure. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was a good series. What's next? Loki?
Yeah.
Loki's
beginning of June,
next.
end of May? Something like that.
And then the film, right? We still get
Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah.
I think that's September now.
Yeah, but we see Elaine. What's in Elaine's name in the comics?
Contessa, Valentina.
Yeah. There you go. So we get to see her, which was a switch, right? Because she was supposed to be, her first appearance was supposed to be Black Widow, and Black Widow has been delayed over a year already, right? That's what that thing is. So it's way behind the continuity of that. I'm sure they had to redo a little bit, or they actually redid in Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I don't believe she was supposed to appear in that. And then once that film got delayed and production started on this again, I think they threw her in. So we get some kind of backstory on her.
That's debatable, because it works well with her introducing U.S. Agent.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I just know setting a film back costs a lot.
Yeah.
Not only in
I
money,
think
but in like where you place everything else, because the times where everything was supposed to come out all got jumbled.
I think we lost more of her intention for doing it.
Maybe we get
More
that in the
than
film.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope that comes out more in the Black Widow. I'm really happy though. I love the way they made Sam Captain America. It was great the way they did that, and they did a really good job of keeping Bucky from being Captain America, but giving him his story arc. Because I was talking to Rob, I was talking to our brother, and he was saying, he goes like he didn't feel like Bucky had a good story, and I'm like, no, actually he did. He had a redemption story.
Dude, he suffers from PTSD, and he's like acknowledging that now. And then
he walked
feels
away from it.
Yeah, and then he's realizing I don't belong in this time. Goes like when they ask him about music, he's all, I like music from the 1940s.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a total fish out of water. He doesn't belong
Or he
there.
made the comment, I read Tolkien when it came out in 1939, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool that he took Cap's book, that book with the all the things you should check out.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
You know, they did a good job with his story arc, and I'm glad that he got that redemption story. And somebody else I saw made a comment that when he broke into that bus and saved all the people from the that were going to do the vote, that was the first time he actually was recognized as a hero. That every other time before that, you know, he was, you know, the villain, or he was not. There weren't people around to see him in that type of role. So that was the first time someone actually thanked him and was able to recognize him as a hero.
Well, that's pretty cool, and only cool things going forward.
Yeah.
It seems like. I didn't watch the Shai-Chi trailer. All I know is that they're making it a big deal because it was like, oh, this is Marvel's first Asian superhero, and the dude from Doctor Strange is like, what?
So, you know, I watched it, and I go, this is cool, but I have no idea how this ties into the Marvel Universe. And it's like a cool karate flick, but like I'm like, if it didn't have Marvel attached, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. What's next?
What's next is Mortal Kombat.
Did you guys watch it?
Hell yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, it was cheesy. The storyline was not that great, but I mean, the fighting was cool. It was fun. They left it appeared, Rick, did it appear to you like they left a door open for another one?
Oh, there's supposedly going to be 3, of course.
Oh,
because everything is in 3s now, right? But oh yeah, that has to be. They didn't get to the tournament, so
yeah.
But they killed off the best characters.
Spoilers.
I didn't say the characters' names. I do like the fact that within the first 10 minutes, you had an amazing fight scene.
Yeah.
You know, you had that, and you had Sub-Zero in that first 10 minutes. The character there is a new character to the universe here, that's a descendant to Scorpion, and it's easy to figure that out in the first 10 minutes of the film. So it's not a major spoiler, but and that tends to be the focus of the story. But you know, it's one of those. It's like Robbie said, it's a popcorn flick. You go in there, don't have any expectations, and you'll enjoy it. Just go watch the blood and the gore, you know.
They split someone in half with a saw made out of a hat.
They do. So you know who threw the hat.
Then they have fatalities and babalities and...
They don't have babality. I mean, they have fatalities, and of course someone's going to say flawless victory. So, nobody said toasty, though.
I was going to just ask you that. I was going to ask you if you
Nobody
said
said toasty.
Toasty!
Someone said flawless victory. I think someone said fatality. I can't remember.
Now, does anybody stop to play, was it Asteroids?
No. But it definitely leaves it open for the sequels, and it focuses on, you know, just a handful of the characters, so you can't expand. There's definitely room for expansion. You did get to see a soul eating.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
right.
fun. You got a soul devour. And then I hear the Miz is pushing hard to be Johnny Cage in the sequel.
Oh, is he really?
He's like, I'm Johnny Cage, which I could see that. I could see him as a Johnny Cage type character.
Now, wasn't Johnny Cage originally based on Jean-Claude Van Damme?
That I don't know.
I mean, they didn't use him as for the sprite, but like that was kind of like, hey, let's get this movie star. Yeah, like kind of like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I can see that. But that's going to be a trip because the way they set it up is you get a mark, and if you have this mark, that means you're supposed to fight in the tournament against the Outworld. So we're going to say a movie star has this mark. Yes, just like that. But if you beat somebody that has the mark can pass on to you.
Ah.
So it's a trip. Check it out if you get a chance. I mean, it's in theaters too. It's definitely worth $10 or whatever to go enjoy, especially if you like just fighting movies and gore and stuff like that. It's fun.
But you know what I'm waiting for is Batman: The Long Halloween.
I remember reading that as a teenager, but I don't remember much about it anymore. But I remember being a damn good Batman.
The one about the holidays. That's the one about
so
the holidays that takes
so
place.
like a murder or something happens on Halloween, and it takes them a year to the next Halloween in order to resolve the story.
Yes.
That much I remember.
And it also has, I believe, I don't remember if it's that one or Dark Victory, where it has Ty as Robin. I think Dark Victory is the sequel, it ties Robin into it. But yeah, this one takes place of like on the different. Somebody's making doing killings on each of the holidays, and so they have like little nursery rhymes they do with each holiday and stuff like that. It's a really good story. I believe it's Jeff Loeb, who was a writer on Lost, did it. And this is going to be a 2 parts because it's so large. It's such a long story.
Jeff Loeb is a perennial comics writer too, not just Lost.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a DC animated movie.
Mm-hmm. And like I've said, DC does fantastic with the animated series, a lot better than they do with their live action.
Right. They do. I mean, who was I talking about? As someone was telling me about this one that kind of previewed it, was The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke was a fantastic animated movie. And they make them, they make them mature. They make them rated R.
I still need to see that one.
Yeah. That's the one where the Joker actually shoots Batgirl and paralyzes her.
It's an R-rated animated movie, Dan. It's actually worth checking out.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. And before we wrap up this segment, I'm gonna jump in. It's in our music news, but it's kind of music news, kind of entertainment news piece. Is I'm a huge fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Great movie. But they're releasing this insane 10th anniversary edition vinyl for it. And it's their 7 Evil Exes edition. It's something like $150, $200. And it's anything and everything that you can do with the movie here, man. I don't even know.
Are you getting it?
I'm tempted. I'm really tempted.
If he didn't have to buy a new floor, he'd already have it.
What's that?
If you have to get a new floor, you'd already have it.
Oh, I'd already have it if I'm not paying for floors, yeah. But it's got posters. It's a 4-disc edition. They're all picture discs with the characters on them. It's got coloring pages from the original artist Brian Lee O'Malley. It's got like anything and everything you could get on this one. So if you Google it, it's just super cool looking. I mean, I'm content with one of the colored vinyl discs for this. You get the Ramona Flowers edition. And you can pick. It basically comes with a random color that was her hair, or you can get the Envy Adams, so it's blonde. Oh, on top of the on the 7 Evil X's $149 edition, you also get extra songs from the movie, like Brie Larson singing the song that her band was supposed to perform instead of the Metric Singer. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just Just fanboying out more than anything. Should we jump into another song here for a quick break?
Yeah, let's jump into another song and take a break.
Always a soft spot for Voodoo Glow Skulls, man. You know, that 90s punk rock, punk and ska movement. That was that's where my heart always is, man. So there's bands that are always coming out and putting out stuff, and I'll go check it out because it's those 90s bands, man. Just like the Offspring just put out the album. 9 years in the making, something like that.
No, it was not Chinese democracy, dude. It's not Chinese democracy. It wasn't 9 years in the making. It's been 9 years since they released something.
Yes, I know. But the funny thing is, I've been sending Ed a punknews.org article for probably about 9 years. Where like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna put out an album this year.
Yeah, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's just not happening. You know what? It's a pretty decent album. It's every time I listen to it, I dig it a little bit more. And you can definitely, it is without a doubt an Offspring album. You can hear it in everything they do.
It's good. I listened to it on the way home last week. I enjoyed it. I dig a lot. You could definitely tell it's an Offspring album. I know they have a few covers on there, right? Or was that just me?
They do in the Hall
their
of the
own
Mountain
song.
King.
Yeah.
And then they do one of those remixes. Those big things now is Rise Against has done it. Bouncy Souls have done it. The Men Singers have done it, where they do a reimagination of one of their old songs. So they did Gone Away, and it was slow and acoustic, and it's probably deeper, in terms of going about it and thinking about that song as being the loss of somebody. It's a lot deeper now, I think, than it was as the original song.
Well, you know what that song's about, right?
Somebody's death. I don't know off the top of my head.
Dexter's girlfriend.
There you go.
I think she died in a car accident or something. Like, so that song's about her. So yeah, no, that song is about a loss. It's about someone that passed away. Dan, what did you think?
It was slower paced. It was one of the slower albums.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, it was good, polished, but slower. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit faster, but I mean, it's not terrible. It's a good album, though.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I listened to it. The first couple of tracks got me. I was like, all right, this is cool. And then it never kind of picked up from there. That's not a bad
Yeah.
thing, but I didn't know what to expect. Because you're not going to top Smash, dude. You're not going to top Ignition. You're not going to top Americana. But we've said it on this podcast before that everything the Offspring puts out, you know it. You know it, and you can sing with it. Like the new one, I think I said this before. Remember? Because I was talking about Me and My Old Lady. You're like, me and yeah. This one is We Never Have Sex Anymore. That's that song. That's the Me and My Old Lady on this album.
It is, man. It kind of dragged from that point on a little bit. Like that song, it was okay, and then In the Hall of Mountain King was cool. The Opiate Diaries, I totally get the song, but that and Hassan Chomp, they were so-so. But once Gone Away came back on, I was like, that's pretty cool. And then they end it kind of in that slow, steady pace. It fades out more than it ends hot.
I'm gonna give it a solid B-. I'm sitting at that. I'll listen to it, but it's not a everyday. It's not Smash. I'll take Smash any day.
I think there'll be a few songs on that'll become a little more heavy rotation. Let the Bad Times Roll is definitely. This is not Utopia, definitely.
That's a good jam. Yeah, the first two songs are there. Yeah. I give you
and
that
then
one.
What was the other one I really liked? I liked Breaking These Bones and Behind Your Walls.
Yeah, those are all solid. The first half of the album is really solid.
Yeah, I was gonna say side one. You get through about Coming for You. It's really, really solid.
Yeah. Well, and Coming for You. When did that's an old song. That's been out a while. I can't remember when that came out. That was it on a soundtrack or something?
That I don't know.
We'll look that up while you talk about the Authority Zero album.
So yeah, and that the Authority Zero, like I said, it's not somebody I followed a lot in the 90s and the early 2000s when they were big, but I remember seeing that name on almost every band flyer, every show flyer in this area. I think they're from Arizona if I remember right.
Yeah.
But they used to play a lot in SoCal. I remember if you went and saw certain bands, Authority Zero was opening for them. So I remember them, and I remember them having a little bit of reggae to them as well as not just the punk. But this was a pretty solid EP. It was if you want that faster, more heavy Offspring vibe, then I would go with the Back Nine, the Authority Zero album. It gave me that 90s punk rock. Every now and then, I think it was the second song or the third song, I got a little bit of an Offspring vibe to it, like an older Offspring, like Smash era. It was really cool. We played Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, which is a really awesome song.
Rick, so what made you decide to go back and take a look at this band? Like, what, like, did somebody recommend it to you, or did you just?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So I belong to a Facebook group called Punk Rock Family, and it's about 500 guys and girls. Man, we're all just, we share stuff about family life, and we celebrate each other's accomplishments and things like that. But then we also every now and then we share music with each other. So the guy who founded the group, he's a big comic book guy. So every now and then, like when I went to the cemetery and I saw Bob Kane's grave, I sent him a picture of this. I go, hey man, I know you'll appreciate this. I'm here at the cemetery and this is Bob Kane's grave. So, we'll shoot back messages to each other every now and then. And every now and then he'll send me a song because he's a huge Authority Zero fan. And he said, hey, this came out today. Check it out. So I said, all right. So I listened to it. I'm like, wow, this is really good.
Hey, that Offspring track, it came out in 2015.
Okay.
Coming for You came out in 2015, so it's been lingering around for 6 years, and it was just a single.
There you go. Which is probably one of those years they're like, yeah, we'll probably put out an album this year, but this song.
Hey, yeah, and that album, again, the Offspring album is called Let the Bad Times Roll, and the bad times are rolling, because we lost a couple people.
Yeah, so we lost Shock G of the Digital Underground, and Shock G was also known as Humpty Hump, and he's kind of the one who discovered Tupac Shakur. He was Tupac Shakur was part of the Digital Underground for one album. He was like a backup dancer and like a stage man, and after that he released his own career. So he's kind of responsible for that. Digital Underground was like really kind of like a psychedelic, like way out there rap, but like Tupac would have him on track and stuff like that, and it was just like they hadn't been big, since the 90s, but they were still putting out music and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of like sad to see. And then you see a lot of people in the hip hop community saying like, "Hey man, we lost Shock G, we lost Shock G." And around the same time, I remember who was first. DMX passed away. DMX is a huge hip hop guy from New York, and like the Lakers, like in their 2001 championship, were like, "Y'all about to make me lose my mind." They'd all gather around, like huddle around and sing and jump around because their Lakers were gonna make everybody lose their mind. Now, Dan, did you listen to Action Bronson on the Rogan podcast?
Yeah, I did actually. I heard a little bit of it, but refresh my memory. I'm pretty stoned right now.
So Action Bronson said like he goes, Action Bronson is a cook and a rapper. He said like, yeah, my wife was ready to have her baby and like it's been like 8 hours. She's playing like this.
Yeah, that's right.
She's with flute music. And like, it's like, hey, if she doesn't have the baby like in an hour, we're gonna have to induce labor or like, do a cesarean. And he didn't want, like, Action was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Fuck this music. And he put on DMX and was like, stop, drop, let him out. And she had the baby. Yeah. So I wanted to tell, we're all in the same community. I wanted to tell DMX that, and it hurts me, like, like to my core that I can't tell DMX that, like, because of him, my son or his baby was born.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was funny.
And then they had a clip where everybody, like, when DMX's body was leaving the hospital, like, all the people were down on the street playing his music, and everybody's all, y'all about make me lose my mind. I don't know if it's that song, but they were just like, all like just cheering on DMX, man. It just, outpouring of love from everybody. And he was like another, like, big loss in the hip hop community, man. He was big, like, in the early 2000s. And we just want to say rest in peace to those two guys, man. Like, he had an impact on a lot of people's lives. And, one guy says like, hey man, I feel sad because I want to tell you about my son or my baby being born and I couldn't do that. It hurts.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was
some heavy losses. Heavy losses. All right, man. I think we have a extraordinary culture first this month. After 40 episodes, we do not have any Star Wars news.
Yeah, it's never happened before. I mean, we're like in that little in-between time where things aren't coming out yet. Like, actually, like in 2 days, 2 days from now, the first episode of The Bad Batch, but like there was nothing new news to report on. And I scour the pages, I'm like, yeah, we don't care. I mean, there's other little things going on. I mean, there's always Star Wars news. But there's nothing for us to report, so. But May the 4th is coming.
I'm going to wear my Jedi robes all day.
You mean your pajamas?
Oh, I have Jedi robes.
Oh.
I bought one of the higher-end costumes. I'm going to bust it out, drive to drop off the kids in my robes.
All right, now into the wild world of...
Been a crazy beginning of the baseball year, man. Dodgers are finally cooling down, which is good though. I'd rather they cool down now than hit the losing streak towards the end of the season. But and the Angels' bat's been on fire lately.
Yeah, and Ohtani, he was the first person to lead in hits, and what was it, like pitch a game, or what was the accomplishment he had last week?
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was that hits and the fact that he won the game, or he's been on fire for both lately. I gotta look that up. I don't remember.
And he's the first player since Babe Ruth to do that.
Yeah. Hey, what was the final score of the Dodger game today? It was like 16-4 or some crap like that.
I don't know.
It was ridiculous.
I don't have it. It didn't show up on my notifications. That's weird.
The bullpen fucking blew it today. That's what I heard. Like as we were going to record I heard the bullpen just fucked it up. But like Dennis May just got injured the other day, so. But like
he's gonna miss May. How sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16-4 was the final score today.
Yeah.
Dodgers over the Brewers.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. They had a 5-run first inning with a grand slam.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's insane. Who was 4 for 4 yesterday? Somebody was 4 for 4 with 2 home runs on the Angels.
Oh, there were 2 grand slams today, dude.
I believe it.
I don't know. I honestly, I've been so busy, I have not been following my own team.
I know that I saw that notification. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head there. They were 4 for 4 yesterday with 2 home runs in back-to-back innings. Pretty
Dang,
impressive.
Are we at that point where we're so busy with freaking like not paying attention to day-to-day stuff like that?
I can't watch the games half the time, so
Well, that's true.
Like I said, I usually
I
get-
live off of my notifications on the MLB app.
I read a box score, and that's about it. That's what I do to sustain.
Yeah.
Because like I get stressed sometimes watching games, and like people think I'm crazy. My wife's
I
like,
do.
are you gonna watch the game? I go, nah. I goes, why? I go, I get a little crazy. He goes, like, why? I'll start pacing up and down. She's like, are you serious? I'm all, yeah. I would walk up and down. So like, so go, how can you even watch a game? I'm all, I go, once you really get hooked onto like the games, you pay attention to every little thing. Like, look at the pitch what he's done.
Mm-hmm. And watching playoff games with an umpire has taught me that a lot.
Yeah.
Is looking where the pitches are hitting and this and that, and it's like, oh god. So yeah, it gets hard. But where's the All-Star game gonna be now?
They're moving
Denver?
it to Denver.
To Denver?
Yeah. So if you don't know what we're talking about, the All-Star game was moved from Atlanta because Atlanta passed this voter rights bill that people didn't like, and then Willie's like, we're going to speak with our wallet, and we're moving our game out of Atlanta, we're moving it to Denver.
Which is not the first time people have boycotted Georgia for things like that. I know the film industry had tried to boycott them a couple years ago before the pandemic hit for similar reasons. Not voting rights, but, treatment of different people.
I'm not giving you an opinion on this because I don't know enough into it, but don't be surprised if that happens again because if you didn't notice, a lot of the Marvel series filmed in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Disney the way that it is, wouldn't surprise me to hear. Okay, this stuff
No.
already wrapped, but we're quietly moving on.
Yeah.
Walking Dead films there too, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
But that's that. It's still gonna make money, dude. We're not to get into the politics of it all, but the All-Star Game's still gonna make money.
Oh, of course.
There's always contingency plans where, like, if something happens, they can move to another city.
Well, you have to
Fairly
have that
easily.
because,
Yeah.
like, you never know what's gonna happen. Like, we've had earthquakes, and all this stuff for the series.
Whatchamacallit? Somebody told me that there's always a contingency plan for the World Cup if they can't host it. That the United States has like 6 months where they could throw things together and host a World Cup within that short period of time.
It's too bad the Olympics can't do that.
Are the Olympics even happening this year? They're gonna happen in
Japan.
Japan, in a few weeks or a few months.
Dude,
right?
I seriously think they're still deciding what's gonna happen. I seriously think they're going through it all because they were undecided if they want to let fans into that kind of stuff, and I don't think Japan right now is a country that you want to do that
No.
because
So
of
I have
the
a-
vaccination rollout.
I have a client who is actually an Olympic, and he's an Olympian with Team France for their BMX team. And I'll ask him periodically, like, hey, have you guys heard anything about, like, Japan? And he goes, no, we're still waiting to hear. So, yeah, it's still kind of up in the air, it seems like, for some people.
I think they have
Some
one
sports.
of the worst vaccination rollouts because a lot of stuff is dependent on that, and it's not good. That's a whole separate conversation. Dude, I don't think either one of these guys watched Triller. Did either one of you guys watch Triller?
No.
No. You know what Triller is? That like Fight Club? Oh, dude.
Their silence is going to tell me that they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. So, what's his name? Paul's.
The
Yeah.
Biebs. The Biebs. Main event. And
It was horrible.
I didn't even
dude.
listen to it. I saw him dancing around.
No, I skipped
But-
that part. I was flipping back and forth between that and the UFC fight.
Yeah.
So, dude, I just wanted to see. It's Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul, right? They're YouTubers. So Jake Paul, they're both boxers. Jake Paul's the better boxer of the two. I would argue to say, although there's a whole reason I bring any of this up.
Are they
So-
legit boxers?
Jake Paul would like to tell you he's a legit boxer. Has he
He
actually
hasn't
fought any
a
boxers?
legit
He
boxer
hasn't
yet.
fought a legit boxer.
So
Like-
so he's trained as a boxer, but he hasn't fought.
He's
But
fought
and
what?
and
That's
who's getting
fair.
Mayweather?
The brother, not even Jake Paul. It's the brother Logan who's
Logan.
getting Mayweather. Yeah. Dude, Jake Paul is like what, 3-0? Something, I think he's 3-0. This is his third fight. He's got that. He's bought two YouTubers. At least one YouTuber. No, he fought a basketball player because he fought what's his name?
A
Freaking
YouTuber, a basketball player,
Right.
Ben Askren.
and Ben Askren, dude. He hasn't fought an actual boxer yet. But his brother has been calling out Mayweather, and his brother, I think, is 1-2. Like, he's only won one fight. And all of a sudden he calls out Mayweather, and Mayweather goes for it. Mayweather said yes to Logan Paul, but Jake Paul has been trying to call out Daniel Cormier. Like, none of this shit makes no sense. These dudes know how to make money. That's what I'm gonna say. But the
Yeah.
Triller thing was
DC
ass, dude. Yeah, go ahead.
DC told him, "I'll do it. I'll do it at 205 MMA only." And Jake Paul said no, boxing, and even DC said it's not going to happen. But if you want it to happen, it's going to be MMA, where I can drag you to the ground, elbow you, choke you, and just beat you up. It's not going to be a boxing. And well, Ariel Helwani asked Jake Paul later in the day because he was interviewing him later, and Jake Paul said, no, I'm not an MMA fighter. This is boxing. This is a huge payday. I'll be your biggest payday ever. And even DC said it's not about the money for me. I'm already rich. My family's already set. It's not about money for me. It's just about me just dragging you to the ground and just mauling you and beating you up. That's what this is about.
These dudes they can make money. These dudes can make money. I will give him that. These dudes can make money, and I legitimately think Jake Paul may actually be a fair boxer, but he's not fighting boxers, dude. He tried to go. He's pulling that thing like you do in wrestling, where somebody comes in and they go straight to the top. That's what this shit reminds me of. And again, there's a whole reason I brought this up is because this Triller stuff, dude, was like freaking. Didn't they have one yesterday? I think they had another one yesterday.
Oh, really?
It's the WWE of boxing, dude. It's freaking like, it's ridiculously like there were musical performances. Ice Cube and Too Short have a super group that performed on there. The Biebs performed
So
on
that
there.
was pretty cool.
I
That
heard
was
I did
nice.
watch some of that. Yeah.
Okay. So Bieber, he's talking about. But anyway,
I know he's talking
about Ice
doing
Cube.
it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Snoop was beyond freaking high doing that shit. And then Oscar De La Hoya was there doing commentary, and that fool was either drunk or high too. He was audibly slurring words. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad. Like,
For sure he was on drugs. For
Yeah.
sure he was high.
So it's a good payday is basically what it is, right? For
Oh,
anybody.
dude, it's a good payday for all those fools to do that. The Pauls are making money doing this. That's fine. I mean, I guess so. But like, unless you're gonna get any real competition, no one's gonna take you serious. But then, they got their own thing making a bunch of money. So I guess good for them. But that shit was a joke. Like the fight before, dude. I don't even know. The two J-Brones were fighting. I don't even know who they are. And one of them took a punch to the side, dude. He took a punch to his side. The blow glanced him. It was more like the forearm hit him, dude. This dude went down like he got kicked in the shin at a soccer game and tried to call it a low blow. Got stretchered out. I mean, this was like good selling for WWE. This was not boxing. It was like, this is some bullshit, dude. It was ass. I watched two fights and they were both like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Way overblown. And that shit's going to make money, is what's sad. That shit's going to make money. So Dan was telling me it's like Fight Club. Like, if we have beef and we want to fight, we can go and fight.
Yeah.
And we can get a percentage of whatever they make.
Fuck, let's do it for the podcast. Make some money. Except I'm not fighting.
Nah,
Dan
man,
because
we can donate that shit to Mongo McMichael.
yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what? Even that page that we follow that makes fun of Mongo was like, man, we're going to show a clip of just him overselling today instead of a botch. when the news broke. Poor dude's
So,
got ALS. Go ahead.
Which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Lou Gehrig's, yeah.
And they're fundraising for him. Poor guy. I mean, He's a legitimate athlete. What you could say about his wrestling skills, yeah, he wasn't the best. He wasn't even like competent, but hey, it was entertaining and he filled that void that they needed. He did very good with commentary, and then Rick kind of brought this up really quickly, but remember, he was the one who did the guest commentary with Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow in that WrestleMania.
Did he?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh hell.
So that's how they brought him in. Like WCW goes like, well, this guy's pretty good. He doesn't have a contract. Okay, let's sign him. We can make some money off of this shit. And then like he's like, yeah, I want to wrestle. And then like come on, legitimately, you have to do something well for Ric Flair for him to bring you into the Horsemen.
He was a big dude. He had the name power.
I like to party with Ric Flair.
Yeah, and he probably brought Deborah along with him. And Deborah even eventually did she end up marrying Stone Cold for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
She was married to Stone Cold for a while, so.
Dude, she was married to him when he basically had a nervous breakdown, and they say it's because of her, the way she was. Speaking of which, did you watch that documentary?
The Stone Cold one,
yes,
yeah.
Yeah. I watched them
Oh,
both.
I didn't watch that
good.
one.
That was a
I
good
haven't
one.
watched those yet.
I watched the Piper one too. That was good too.
Piper one was excellent.
X, were you there at Comic-Con? And I don't think we were with each other, but were you there the year that I met Roddy Piper?
Yes, I was there that year.
Were you weren't with me when I met him though, huh?
No, I remember seeing you there and like, hey, I met Roddy Piper. I'm like, oh shit, he was signing.
Yeah, man. That dude, that was a cool dude. Like for real. This documentary got into that about how his like home life was separate from his wrestling persona. And like I'll let you watch it. No spoilers. It's really good though. But the thing I remember about Roddy Piper, and I met Roddy Piper like it must have been the year 2000, man. From around there, 2000, 2001 maybe. So it was 20 years ago. He had his book and he signed it. The thing I remember about Roddy Piper is that I had noticed him in line when I was, in line to get my autograph and all that kind of stuff. That every time he met somebody, he not only shook their hand, he stood up from his desk and shook their hand. And I said something to him. I said, "Hey man, can I tell you something?" He said, "Sure, brother." And I said, "Yeah, I was taught that when you meet somebody, you shake their hand and you grip it. That's how I was taught." I told him, but I noticed that every time you did it, you stood up. That's the ultimate sign of respect to me, man. I just want to tell you, I appreciate that. And he looked at me and he said, "You know what, brother? Thank you very much." And that just stuck with me. He looked at me and you could see in his eyes that like that meant a lot to him. That I even noticed that and said something. And it totally was true, dude, because he's sitting here just like we are right now. But every single person that came up, he stood up out of his chair to greet them and shake their hand.
And you got to remember, he's shaking hands with like hundreds, if not, well, it was probably shaking with about 500 people that day. So it was up and down. And
yeah,
I mean, he never had like,
and he had hip replacement by that time.
Yeah, but he never like, say anything about his knees, but getting up and down, up and down.
Yeah, and I just remember that because, I mean, even me thinking about having to stand up, every time I greet somebody because, you're with somebody for 30 seconds, but he did every single person he was doing it with, dude. And I was like, that's the ultimate sign of respect for me, man, for you to do that. And that stuck with me, man. That has always stuck with me about how cool I thought Roddy Piper was when I met him. But watching this, I just was like, all right, man, I remember that. That stuck with me. I thought it was kind of cool. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, now he was married to his wife forever too, right? Like he was married one time and he stuck with his wife forever.
His family didn't have family problems, man. According to this documentary, they weren't there.
Because I remember watching Trading Spouses, and they had a celebrity one with Roddy Piper and Ric Flair, and Roddy Piper never spent a lot of money. He kept it short. He never went out for dinner all the time. It was like, okay, it's a holiday or it's a special occasion, we'll go out to dinner. Well, Ric Flair's going out to dinner every night, buying people bottles of champagne. And Roddy Piper's wife commented and goes, we went to the wedding of Ric Flair and his first wife. So it's going to be strange to see him with this new person.
Yeah, but Ric Flair also has been broke numerous times.
Yeah.
That's why. That's the difference. Woo! Hey, Ric Flair's not on. Is he featured in any of these upcoming Dark Side of the Ring?
Ric Flair? I don't think so.
No.
Oh no, maybe the Collision in Korea. Wasn't he there?
Yeah. I think he might have. They talked about him in the Brian Pillman one because I watched that one yesterday.
Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Oh,
Did they have the whole thing up?
No, they had the first. Well, they have the first episode, which is 45 minutes to an hour long. But they don't because that one's a two-parter.
Okay, so yeah, remember Rick was
So-
here yesterday at the house.
I watched that.
So there was like the Benoit episode. They gave you the first one on YouTube, and you have to tune in when it actually shows to watch the
Mhm.
second one.
Now that one, that goes into his family life, and his family life was dark. Just real quick, and it's not that much of a spoiler because you can look this up. He has 3 kids with 3 different women, and his kids are only maybe like 3 or 4 years apart. So, and just like some of the stuff that was going on back behind the scenes and stuff like that, like how we got his release from WCW to go to ECW and then to WWF.
Oh, he played him. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
Eric
talks about
Bischoff has
that.
talked about that. Like Eric Bischoff says he knows, but everybody's kind of like, no, you didn't. He played you. You didn't know how far you was going to take that stuff. Then he was never the same after he broke his ankle.
And I think that's the first one with Dave Meltzer. What the fuck that guy? The
Meltzer,
dirt sheet
yeah.
guy.
Meltzer,
Yeah.
you said it.
Yeah. It's the one with him on there. I'm like, oh, did they never bring this guy out? Because this guy, nobody ever has anything good to say about him.
Sure, not freaking Jim Cornette, who they use religiously. But the thing, you know why they brought it, and I can tell you why they brought in Meltzer, because I've heard this story, is because Meltzer and Brian Pillman were really good friends.
Yeah.
And Meltzer was one of the only people in the know that the whole loose cannon thing was a work. Like, where he tried to sell it as real, Meltzer knew it was like, no, this is not. But he still doesn't know if the whole intent, and I don't know if they talked about this, and I'll watch it later, but Meltzer still doesn't know, I don't think, if the whole intent was to actually get out of his contract. Like, completely. So, like, there was just some stuff, like, with Brian, you're like, I don't know. I still don't know the answer to that. Like, even though I knew a lot of it was a work, I don't know the answer to that, which is kind of cool. Did you hear Glenn Danzig? Let's send it on a higher note. Did you hear Glenn Danzig said that Misfits couldn't happen today?
Yeah.
Because of cancel culture.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't believe that. I believe there's a niche for that. There's so many people that are into the dark and the horror stuff that it would fly through.
Yeah, I don't.
It'd be just as underground as it was.
Yeah. I think he makes the mistake of thinking like it's some major above ground thing, and it's not.
You got to remember, too, the Misfits were very small originally. They weren't nearly as big as they are now, or
Right.
even where when we started listening to them 25 years ago, they weren't as big. You know, they were like, probably like sell out the Showcase, but they wouldn't sell out like bigger venues like, say, like, fuck, I can't even think of anything better. But you know what I'm...
The Bank of
It was
California.
it was very much with them, the absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah,
And the longer they were away, the more it was like, when they came back, it was big.
exactly.
Yeah. That's going to do it for this month. Thank you for listening. Anybody who needs to contact us, we're always looking for music reviews, updated show calendars, short films, book reviews, anything like that. You can email us at exocast@yahoo.com. We're on Instagram as exoculture. We're on Facebook as exocult. We're on Twitter as exocultcast, and on TikTok as exocast. You can find Extraordinary Culture Podcasts on Odyssey, Podomatic, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. You can even ask your smart home device to play the Extraordinary Culture Podcast. We'll see you next time.